Good morning. I will continue talking about the self and specifically the generation of the OCD self, which is an imaginary false self. Okay, who am I? This question uh, is especially happens a lot inside the OCD person. OCD people feels lack of or emptiness of the self. And when they focus inside and question their feelings or try to monitor or try to feel their feelings about who they are, they often find an emptiness or they will find the OCD self. It depends on the hour in the day, or they check quickly after an attack or maybe in a calm period. In a calm period in their day, they will find emptiness, or they will keep asking the question, who am I? I don't recognize myself. We have said many times that OCD attacks the person in his values. It can be in his highest value or other values. And we have said many times that the self, the real self, is that place where the values of the human being kept. Okay. And now, because OCD attacks you in the values, in your values, then the more you are busy with the obsessions, the more you are busy with the monitoring the thoughts, the repugnant thoughts or the obsessions, then the more you are deep in the OCD, the more that yourself taking this lower position means the OCD self position, and so you will feel more and more the OCD self. Okay, OCD self. The problem with OCD self, one of the most important problem with OCD self, it is 180 degree with your real self. Because in negative thoughts or negative emotion or other psychological problems, in traumas or depression, yourself don't have to assume the opposite of your real self. It can be 80 degree, 90 degree with your, it doesn't, of course it will not be at the same direction with your real self, but it can be like that. So this degrees. But in OCD self, it is like that. This is the OCD self, this is your real self. Okay, so 180 degree. This is why OCD self is fake, complete fake. While in depression or in other psychological traumas or problems, you will develop a position of the self that it is repugnant or painful, but it doesn't have to be 180 degrees. With OCD, it is 180 degrees. Everything you are not, it become the OCD self. The OCD self is everything you are not, is everything you are not. So the real self, which you are really is, okay, which you are really are, is 180 degree. It is not like that. Okay, it is like that, 100 precisely against your real self, the OCD self. So when you attacked by an OCD obsession, or normally you are monitoring, so without attack, one day, one peaceful, restful day, you are not attacked, or one 8 peaceful our 8 restful hours, there is no attack of obsessions, then you are monitoring the environment, I mean your head, to see if there is anything that you can fear of. Uh, Still, you are not in your higher self or real self. So still you don't feel your real self. Okay, you feel the emptiness, you feel the lack of the self. You question, who am I? Okay. Of course, the worst case is when you are attacked by the OCD self. Then you will feel that you are fused with the OCD self, and you are. If I ask you, or you ask yourself at that moment of a fusion, who are you? Then you will answer, I am the ritual, I am the OCD, I am the obsessions, I feel it simply, it is true, I feel it. It is very true. It is so you keep saying, "This is me. Who am I without the ritual? I am the ritual." Sometimes even you cannot recognize yourself without the ritual. So even in the restful, peaceful moments of 8 hours or less or more than that, if I ask you who are you, then you will say, "Who I am the rituals. Who am I without the rituals?" Okay. And at the same time, also, the OCD self says to you, you are dangerous, especially in harm OCD. You are a dangerous. You should do the compulsion, the ritual, so that you become the right self. I have said already, this alignment between the image of the self and the feared self, or the yourself now. This alignment, try to align between them, is a fake alignment because they cannot be unified. But the OCD self will keep saying to you that, who are you without the compulsion? You are the criminal, you are the aggressive, you are the homo, you are the disbeliever, you are that and that. So you should do then the OCD self says to you, or lets you feel, you should do the compulsion. Otherwise, you will be the feared self. Otherwise, you will be the self, the person you are fearing. Okay. So uh, you people who are busy with obsessions, they are thinking and feeling the whole day about whom they do not want to be. Okay, they are searching and focusing and concentrating and monitoring the whole day uh, the, the, the personality, the self whom they fear, whom they do not want to be. Okay, or they are thinking and feeling the whole day about the self whom they fear to be, rather than who they really are. Okay, rather than who they really are. They are the real self. In reality, they are the authentic real self. Okay, but they spend the whole time thinking, feeling, monitoring, checking the feared self. Okay, so of course, then you are spending so much time with fear, and so you are spending most of the time with the OCD self, with the feared self, the self that it is against yourself, your real self. So you are spending most of the time with a self that it is against yourself. So of course you will feel emptiness, you will feel lack of self. Who am I? This is not me, this is me, this is, and the ambivalence and like that. Okay, so when the self, sorry, so when the self has a little contact with the real self, ambivalence arises. when the self has little contact or no contact with the self, ambivalence will arise. Okay? Ambivalence arises because of loss or the weakness of this contact. And then you say inside yourself, who am I? I don't recognize myself. And then if you do a ritual, then this is me. You spend this time with your fake self. Okay, so now let us assume that you are now attacked by an obsession, OCD obsession. So, and you have two choices, or to neglect this obsession, and the frequency will become less and less and less, and then this is what the normal free OCD free person does. And so now, or the second choice, that you will try to understand. Simply very peaceful, very innocent intention to simply, what is that? Especially in the first days. Uh, in the first days of your new OCD life, okay? So, or first hours or first minutes, you are attacked. You say, whoa, what is that? How is it possible? If you are a religious, then these are completely unreligious. Then you will say, how is it possible? I am a religious guy. How is it possible that God, that, and that? How is it possible? Or if you are a good, loving, caring mother, and after giving birth, you will get, after so long years without to be pregnant, without child, you get after 10 years suddenly pregnant with a child, and you are completely loving, and you give birth to the child, and in one night, after 2 3 days, you get this real obsessions and strong repugnant thoughts doing harm to your child. I hope it will not be diagnosed after that as an prenatal depression. It can be, of course, prenatal, but what is the cause of that? I think it is OCD. These repugnant, these obsessions and compulsions. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So you are this religious guy or this loving mother, and you are suddenly, the first time, attacked by intrusions, or repugnant intrusions, repugnant thoughts. And then you will ask simply, what is that? How is it possible? Is that happening to me? What is that? And then begins the problem. One of the most later important tricks to maintain OCD obsessions is that to simply to try to innocently to understand what's happening. Of course, when you want to understand the obsession, which is 180 degree with your values, it is difficult for the higher self position. It will not understand what is that. What is that? How is it possible that I have such thoughts or such feelings? Or how is it possible? And you begin to ask yourself. You begin to ask yourself innocently to know, to make sense, to understand. But this is the trick. When you try to understand, to make sense of it, you will focus more on the obsession. I have said before, in the beginning, try step one, and then step three, refocusing. If you didn't succeed with that, then begin with step two, and the self definition and that. Why? Because normally I use ACT. Okay, normally we use neglection of the OCD obsessions. We neglect these repugnant thoughts. So you refocus. You get a repugnant thought, you refocus. At the task at the hand, you do your goals, your things, what you were doing before the attack. Okay, 1, 3. Step 1, step 3, 1, 3. Okay, and then only 3. Okay, but say for the sake of simplicity, 1, 3. You do that. Okay, this is ACT, pure ACT. This is a neglection of the inner world. What's happening with me? No, leave everything. Leave, and refocus. Because you know it. This is an OCD. This is an obsession. Okay, if this is difficult, you say to me, or you say to yourself, oh, this is difficult. I cannot. I still look back to the obsession. So you driving the car. I mean, you recognize the OCD, and then you should refocus. That means you neglect refocusing. What is refocusing? Refocusing, say it is an ERP that says I don't care. A plus, I will care about the real task at hand, my values, my goals, which is derived originally from my values. Okay, this is why I call it ERP plus. So this is refocusing. Okay, you ERP it, you stop your response. I will not focus further on you. I will, instead of that, focus without fear, without escaping, without fear. No, I will not focus on you. I will focus on my important thing, my important task, or the task at the hand, or what you were doing before the obsession enters. Okay. Uh, yeah. So here is ACT, isn't it? Now, when you say to me, "Oh, sorry, it is difficult. I cannot. I feel that it is me. I feel it is reality. I cannot refocus. I should check. I should go." Then we say, "Okay, let us get a little bit in touch with the content." Then it is CBT, and also building the self attributes. Later we will come to these exercises and videos to build the real self attributes. Okay, to recognize your real self, to make again contact, or to strengthen the connection, to strengthen this contact, you should use self attributes. And now we come back to the uh, discounting the positive. This is a very dangerous cognitive error, because self attributes, you should attribute positive things to yourself, to reconstruct the relationship, the contact with your real self. This is why discounting the positive is very dangerous cognitive error. But later we will come to this to building the attributes. Okay. Okay, so I come back to the generation of the false self. Okay, the generation of the false self. So you get attacked by the OCD obsession, and then you say to yourself, "Who am I? How is it possible that I get such uh, thoughts or obsessions or intrusions or this repugnant thing?" This abhorrent thing. Who is it possible? This is totally against, because it is, you, of course, if it is not totally against, if you have a, this is why self-theme is very important. If you don't care about religion, you will never have an OCD. Or if you don't care about, okay, so you care, your self care. This is why the theme of the self is important. Okay, so you get these repugnant thoughts, and then you begin to question, how is it possible? You want to understand that. You want to make sense of it. But when you understand that, you make sense of it, you give more focus and concentration to the obsession. You are feeding the monster. Okay, so you want to make sense of it. But uh, but you are new to these obsessions at the beginning. Later, it is you know these obsessions, but to deal with them, you should go to a lower part of yourself. You remember the three self position model, okay? I Okay, so you get now the obsessions, and now you ask yourself, how is it possible that I get these things? You don't understand them, you cannot relate to them, you cannot make sense of them. So you try to make sense of them because you are in a fear. You feel danger. It is threatening me. So you try to make sense of them. You give them more attention, more focus. Okay. Okay. Still, still, your real self, okay, cannot understand that because it is completely 180 degree from the real self, so it cannot understand it. But at the same time, the self, because you have three position, okay, so the self now, this is the real self, this is the OCD self, okay. Now I am here, I am attacked by an OCD self, okay. You are here, you are attacked by an OCD self, sorry, by an OCD obsession, okay. You try to make sense of it, you try to make sense of it, you cannot, okay. You cannot make sense of it, okay. Especially at the beginning, you were a little bit close to your real self, you don't have an OCD obsession, a little bit, you have no less ambivalence, you have already ambivalence, otherwise you're not attacked by an OCD. So you have already an ambivalence in yourself, you suspect, you doubt, but very little. So your self is near your real self. Yourself, okay, is near your real self at the beginning. Okay. Still, you get these repugnant thoughts. You go to the real self, or you go, or you try to understand that, try to know what is that. The real self cannot understand that. Okay. If you have ambivalence, if you don't have ambivalence, then you will neglect them. Okay. The real self don't understand it. No one, no, I don't understand. No one understand it. I mean, this self don't understand it. This self don't understand it. This self is not created yet. Okay, so who understands it? Okay, it doesn't make sense. You will neglect. Simply, you will go ahead and focus on the task at hand, or you keep living like the free OCD person. Okay. Okay. Now we come back. So you are here. The here is your real self. You are here. You are attacked by OCD self because you have no you are you have a little bit ambivalence. So you are not, yourself is not at the same with your real self. You know yourself. No, you are here. You have an ambivalent self. Okay. Now you are attacked by obsession. You try to understand it, to make sense. Yeah, it's impossible. I cannot. No one can. This cannot. This you, and you cannot. It is against you. It's against your values, your history, your everything. Okay. But you fear because of you fear. Okay. I don't want to interfere each time, so that I will keep, because I know the subject is very difficult. These self models are very difficult. So I try to make it simple to you, and later, maybe at the night or between awake and sleep, you can, maybe you will have a glimpse of the truth. You will have a glimpse of the model, or by monitoring, or by, okay, so, but I should give you this. I should give you these videos. Okay, so you are attacked and you cannot understand it, but still you fear these thoughts, and you monitor them. You give them more attention. Why? You want to understand them. You discover that you cannot understand them. Okay, so this will force you to make a second appraisal in CBT, a second appraisal. Okay, not the first, but the second appraisal. That so appraisal means sort of valuing the things, valuing the situation. You want to revalue the situation for the second time. Okay, then you will say, okay, this is not me. I hated these thoughts. This is not me, I don't recognize them, but still they are coming back. In fact, you are focusing on them and you are monitoring the area. This is why they are coming back and you fear them. They are coming back and I want to make sense of it, but I cannot. How is that possible? It is very important. And you insist. You insist to know, to make sense, to understand these obsessions. The more you insist, the more you will fear them. The more you will give them more attention, more focus, more concentration, more food. But I cannot understand them. But you cannot understand them. You cannot make sense of them. Okay? But because you have a basic distrust or basic untrust and ambivalence in yourself, you will monitor the environment. You will try to monitor. You monitor the environment. You monitor the obsession. You still you cannot understand and make sense of them. You make a third appraisal. You keep apparently that they are important. You say to yourself, it is important. I feel they are important. They are make me scared. I am in a fear. I am watching. I am not myself anymore because I am focusing on that. So it should be important. And now if you keep insist on understanding them, so now comes the importance of acceptance. Okay, I accept I don't understand them. I accept I feel them and think them, but I don't understand them. This is not me. I accept that. I accept that they are here in my brain, in my feeling, in my thought. I accept that. And I keep going. I keep living. I keep doing the task at hand. I keep acceptance. Okay? So if you don't accept that, and you still insist on knowing, understanding the source, the obsessions, why they are that, why I get these obsessions, who am I, why it is me, why, from where does these obsessions comes, and if you insist, then a self will be created, or a position of the self. This is the OCD self will be created that can relate to these obsessions. It will make a story. I fear that. Oh, this is the self that I don't want. So the OCD self. Okay. So here, this is, you say to yourself, oh, this is the self that I don't want. This is the OCD self. If I became a negligent mother, I will be like that. I will harm my child. If I become an observant religious guy, then I will be gradually a disbeliever. Okay, so you begin to talk about the unreal self, the uncreated self, the feared self, the self that is against you. Okay, you want to know that, you insist on knowing that, despite the fact that it has had nothing to do with you and you should neglect them, but you insist, I should know. I cannot tolerate the uncertainty, tolerating the uncertainty, the cognitive error. I cannot tolerate this uncertainty, that I neglect these repugnant thoughts, and they are very harmful and 180 degree, they are hateful. I hate them. But you insist on making sense and understanding these thoughts. It's impossible, so your brain will be forced to, it's impossible to understand, so your brain will be forced to create a self, create a position of the self that can, so you, here, if you cannot in this position, so you will go down to the position of the fake self, to the position of the OCD self. Now when you arrive at the position of the OCD self, okay, sometimes I say 3 self, or for the sake of simplicity, I say you have now the OCD self, you are OCD self, but in fact it is a position. So okay, so it is, but for sake of simplicity, and because simply I should make a quick shortcut so that you don't lose the connection. Okay, and now you and now you are in the OCD self position. Okay, let us say you are now in the OCD self. The OCD self can now understand everything. This is I hate, I don't want, so I will do the ritual. OCD self, simply, very quick, very simple, very obvious. I know it. I know this is the repugnant thoughts. What should I do? Do the compulsion. Push them, push the repugnant thought. Uh, Try to discuss with them, try to negate them, challenge them, fight with them, struggle with them, and they become more and more and more. You focus more and more and more, and then you question yourself why I have this OCD self. Of course, you are spending 7, 6 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour per day, or maybe the whole day. If you have a very severe OCD, the whole day, of course, with these obsession you spend the day, of course you will not recognize yourself. You will say, who am I am the dissociation, or you begin to think about schizophrenia or schizophrenia or psychosis or like that, and I will be crazy. Of course you are busy the whole day with not you, with something different, with no, not with something different, with something exactly the opposite. You are busy with a self that it is exactly opposite with your real self, with your authentic self. You are busy the whole day exactly with the opposite. Exactly. Do you know it is not 30 degrees, or it is 180 degrees. So this is why you get an emptiness. No, this is not me. Or during the attack, this is me. I am the pedophile. I am the criminal. I am the disbeliever. I am the aggressive, harmful, that and that and that. I am. Because you are in the OCD self. You are the OCD self now. You are completely, you generate the information completely from this fake imagination, imaginative self, fake self. Uh, Not only fake against 180, precisely the opposite. It is not opposite, or it is not, it is precisely opposite. So of course you will be in a great fear. If you are a nice, peaceful guy, and I say to you, oh, maybe you have a little bit aggressiveness, then this is 30 degree. But when I say to you, you are the aggressiveness in itself, you are very aggressive, you are very harmful, you are that and that, this is a 100, of course you will fear. You cannot accept that. You can, especially if you have, as I have said, self ambivalence. This will trigger you to search, to know the truth. Oh, is this, maybe this is me, maybe this is, and then you you cannot understand that, so you will, and you insist on not accepting these feelings. Acceptance, look here, acceptance. Okay, and you insist on not accepting that I don't understand these feelings and thoughts. They are not me, and I don't accept. And even if I feel that they are me, but I know that now that I have none. I didn't do any compulsion. Sorry, I didn't do any story. I didn't kill anyone. I didn't mistreat anyone, or that. So, but still you suspect, because of the ambivalence. You still suspect. You still, okay. So you cannot understand that. You don't accept that you don't understand that. So I accept I don't understand these equation. I don't accept that I understand these feelings. I accept that I feel these abhorrent, disgustful feeling, but okay, this is not me, and I accept that. Okay, I accept what I can do. What shall I do? I have a disease. I am like that. So I accept. If you don't accept, you insist on knowing, on why is that. Maybe I will commit a danger. You become you fear the unreal self, the fake self, the OCD self. the imaginative self, the self in the future or in the old history or in your imagination. You begin to get the information not from the reality, physical reality, from the people, from the reality, from your role as a good father. Everybody says that you are a good father, a good mother, a good religious guy, a very peaceful guy, a very straight guy, not a homo, like that. Then, okay? But you suspect that, so you don't understand that, you don't accept that, you don't understand that. So what you will force your brain to create this self, the OCD self. OCD self is native language. They can understand the OCD very quickly, and they can relate to, and they can show you the way you should do the compulsion. Otherwise, you will become the fear self. You will become a pedophile if you don't do the compulsion. You will. The OCD self will say to you, if you don't do the compulsion, you will become a pedophile. You will become the mother who killed her child. You will become a disbeliever. Surely you will be inside a little bit more extra thing. You will enter the fire, uh, infinite pain, infinite time, infinite, and so it will increase the fear, and that, and that, and that, and you are here. So instead of you are going up, you are going down, and you live here. The more you live here, the more you are strengthening your OCD self. So of course you will feel emptiness. Lack of self. Who am I? You begin to question, and then maybe you get wrong diagnosed as a dissociation or a depression, dissociative disorder, or depression disorder, or you psychosis. Many diagnoses of psychosis, because I don't know. And then you begin to see and you feel things and like that, but it is not psychosis. It is not. Okay, this is another disorder. Okay, but now I'm talking about OCD. Okay, so I know that the self concept and the OCD self is not a simple concept. This is why I'm making this video. I've also put on all of the videos in this series, but specifically in the OCD self, or the self videos. Beneath, I put a lot of text, maybe some references and some thoughts, maybe so that you can a little bit get in touch and understand what is happening here. Why OCD people suffers from the lackness, emptiness, especially from the most beloved aspect, from the most beloved value in their life that they want to maintain and to increase and to get bigger and bigger, and to feel and to love these aspects and value. Especially these values, they lose the feeling, the contact, the thoughts, that the touch with them. Okay, I understand that. Okay, so please try to spend some time about that, and I hope that will get some sense of what is happening in yourself or in the OCD self. God bless you, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.